So wait omnes, and welcome to Verse Literature Section 6, this one on Aeneas finding Creusa's ghost. So there's actually been a gap between the previous section, where Aeneas sees the Greek soldiers approaching himself and his father and his son, and they flee through the city. This was the last lines that we had here. This is immediately followed, in this translation, and I thought this was quite telling, nor did I look back for my lost one, or cast a thought behind me, until we came to the mound in ancient Ceres' sacred place, where he had previously said we're going to meet up. Here, when we all were gathered together at last, one was missing, had escaped the notice of friends, child, and husband. What man or god did I not accuse in my madness? What did I know of in the city's fall crueler than this? So, Aeneas directly says that he completely forgets Creusa, how you pronounce her name, and they just flee through the city until they reach the predestined meetup spot and realise she's not there. And then apparently he just goes completely mad and starts shouting and screaming at the gods, or so he says. He then leaves his father and son in the care of his companions in their hiding place, rearms himself and runs back into the city, which, again, is supposed to be like being sacked by the Greeks, but he manages to dodge all of them, gets all the way back to his house, and he sees it being attacked by the Greeks, it's being burnt and ransacked, and then all the way to the Priam's palace, which, and he sees there Odysseus and a couple of other people basically looting the place and creating slaves. So he gets all the way through there. And finally we get the start of this. So he's got all the way back into the city, and he's just not finding his wife anywhere. And then, you know, again, this is a hostile city, there are no defenders around. So Ausus, being a semi-deponent, so this is having dared, quin etiam, indeed even. Here, this quin is adding emphasis to etiam. What is he having dared? He is having dared to iacere his voces per the umbram. To throw, literally voices, cries through the shadow and the shade. Why is it having dared? Well, again, this is a hostile invasion into his city. There are Greeks running around in armed squads, and Aeneas is like yelling at the top of his voice for his wife, and somehow they don't find him. I filled, why is it I? Because again, it's still Aeneas narrating. I filled the streets with my shouting, and sorrow, literally sorrow, or sad, but sorrowfully will be better as a translation. Sorrowfully repeating in vain, Creusa. I called for Creusa again and again. Very, very nice bit of Latin here. So, Creusa, his cry, or Crusam, his cry has been put into the Latin. So you can, and there's really heavy repetition there. Iterumque, I called for again and again. Ingeminans is also quite clever. It literally means like repeating himself. So it comes from Geminus, twins, but it also has a bit of a sound, maybe a bit of a play on words with ingemens, groaning. Really, really pretty bit of Latin in terms of, and the striking an image of Aeneas wandering down these deserted streets of the burning city, crying out for Crusam. This word umbram here has been translated as shade or shadow. Here it's going to be translated something slightly different. Okay, quirenti and ruenti, instantly notice the endings there being repeated, bit of an ironic echo, are both going to describe mihi down here. They're both present participles, but I've translated them first because that's the way that they order, or that's the order of the Latin. So, as I was searching quirenti and rushing ruenti, through the tectis of the urbis, through the buildings of the city, sine finne, without end, or endlessly. Again, listen to that line. Quaerenti et tectis urbi sine fine ruenti. Very nice sounding line. The infelix simulacrum atque umbra creusa ipsius. The unhappy shade or ghost the unhappy ghost and shade of Creusa Ipsius, Creusa herself. Visa appeared to me ante oculos, before my eyes, and her imago, brackets, her image was maior, bigger or greater, nota, is ablative here because it is being compared. If you are comparing something in Latin, you can either use quam and a noun in the same case, or you can just put that second noun in the ablative, which is what's happened here. And her image was bigger or greater than the one known, brackets, to me. I was astounded, and my comai, my hair, stood up, and my voice stuck in my, literally throat, but throat. The ghost and the image and the simulacrum, the phantom, they're all the same thing. It's the ghostly image of Creusa. Okay, this is where we're going to talk about something very soon. Choice. So in language analysis questions, you will often be asked, as it says here, you should refer to the Latin and discuss a range of stylistic features such as choice, sound, and position of words. This sounds quite easy. You go, okay, so an example sentence if the question was something like, how does Virgil create sympathy for Creusa or something? Virgil creates sympathy for Aeneas and Creusa when he says, in Felix, blah, 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 appeared to Aeneas. This, and maybe you even add in choice of word, shows that Creusa is now a sad ghost, creating sympathy in the reader for her. Yeah, no, that doesn't count as analysis. You've not actually specified what is the choice, or why the choice matters, and basically this isn't really a stylistic point, this is just a content point. If, however, in your head you replace the word choice with connotations, connotations being here, then you're going to probably be going in the better direction. So instead of saying, this choice of word shows that Creusa is now a sad ghost, if you said here, Virgil's choice of in Felix, so you're actually picking out the word, you're actually saying which word is an influential and important choice. Virgil's choice of in Felix to describe Creusa's ghost emphasizes her pitiable state. So you're actually picking out a word and then saying why we care about the word. This is fine. Notice that I picked out the Latin. You can't pick out the English. The reason I bring this up right now is there's actually a really clever bit of Latin going on here, in that simulacrum, umba, and imago, which has been translated as ghost, shade, and likeness, all actually have connotations, as you can see here, image or reflection, but shade and phantom, semblance, shadow, shadow, appearance, image, semblance, pretense, but also, yes, the idea of being a shade or a shadow, ghost. And again, with the imago, it can be translated as ghost in some instances, so phantom, ghost, apparition, but often in the sense of the empty form, the image, the semblance. Very, very clever bit of vocabulary here. So Virgil is picking 3 words, the variatio, as I say here, when you're using multiple words to describe the same thing, so lots and lots of synonyms. And here he's really emphasizing the fact that not only is Creusa dead, this ghost isn't really her anymore, it's just a shadow of her. Very nice bit of vocabulary. Last bit. It's a short one. Then she addressed, this is actually an infinitive, but oh well. She addressed me sick, thus, or in this way. And she demere, she removed my curas with his dictis, these literally haven't been spoken things, but these words. What does it you want? Does it help to indulge Tantum here being really translated like an adverb, so much. In insano dolore, oh, in mad grief, o dulcis conjunx, o sweet spouse or husband. Haec, these things, non enveniunt, do not happen, sine numine divum, without the numen of the divorum. That's just short for gods here. Numen, literally nod, often translated in the sense of divine power or will, or it can just literally mean, it can just be short for a word for God. Nor, brackets, is it, fas, right, or speakable, or proper, that you, so we've got an indirect statement here, nor is it right that you, portare, take or carry, literally, but take, crucem, hinc, from here, brackets, as your commitem, as your companion. Literally or, but these are all negatives, so nor does ille regnator, that ruler of Olympi superi, of Olympus above, sinet, allow. So what is she saying here? She's literally saying, why are you so annoyed? Everything happens with the gods willing it to happen. I was always fated to die. You were not ever going to be allowed to take me. It wasn't your fault. A little bit suspicious, considering that Aeneas is himself saying this. And a nice image that I found for Creusa as the sort of the ghost, larger than human form, perhaps. Greater, it has been translated. There's a little bit of a sense that she may be sort of deified. She's talking about what Jupiter himself, the ruler of Olympus, is allowing. So she's clearly been told what's going on. And there's a lovely bit of analysis here that you can read in your own time. So that is the entirety of section 6. Quite short, but some really, really pretty Latin, lots and lots of complicated points to make. Thank you very much, hope that helps.